Welcome, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. I think the majority of you are in. I know we've still got some trickling in, but I don't want to waste any time. We really wanted to start on time this morning, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Um, First of all, if you're attending this today, that means that you have an offer to attend UCD, or maybe you're a parent or a family member of somebody attending have it that has an offer to attend UCD starting this September. So congratulations. And this is really kind of the first major point in the season for those of you who are maybe still deciding, you haven't decided if you're going to accept your offer, or maybe you have. This is really the best first place to start really gathering that information needed to make your decision and to start preparing to come over to Ireland and to UCD. So truly congratulations. This event is a great overview of what to expect next. You're going to get to hear from 18 different current students who are here live today to share their experiences with you. You're also going to get a chance to ask questions and meet other offer holders in the breakout rooms at the end of this session after the main presentation. Um, Having said that, if you have questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to utilize the chat feature and ask questions. Whether it's for current students, you can specify this question is for a current student. Go ahead and ask at any time. Or if you just have general questions, we have other North America staff here who we're going to introduce in just a minute here. Um, they can all answer questions during the main presentation. So don't feel like you have to wait for the breakout session to ask questions, okay? So after a very, very quick poll in the chat here, I'm gonna introduce myself formally and meet some of our North America team based across the US. And just note, you can see that we're recording. The recording of the main presentation here, so about the first hour of this, and the slides, including all of the links, will be shared with all of you in a follow-up email within the next 2 weeks or so. So if you're like, oh, I need those links, or I really want to revisit this, just know that you will have access to it. Okay, so please utilize the chat feature here and let's get to know very quickly who's in the room. Just go ahead and type what state or province you're from. And really, we like to do this because we like to see who's in the room, but also it's good for you to see other people who are maybe from your same state or region. So really curious. Okay, amazing. We've got a few Texas, New Jersey, California, Ontario, Canada represent. Yeah, okay. We're all over. I love this. So definitely maybe scroll through once the chat calms down and keep an eye. Maybe it's somebody you want to connect with later. Um, and hopefully in the breakout sessions, which we'll explain a bit more later. But in British Columbia, also Canada represent. I love this. So we're actually from all over, which is just amazing. So hopefully you can see at least one other person who's from your area, and just know that you're not the only one thinking of going on this journey, right? Okay, so here's a quick overview, just so you know the order of what to expect. So next, we're going to meet the North America team very, very quickly. We're going to talk about opportunities to meet us and other offer holders in person at our admitted student meet and greets. We're going to very quickly just talk about why consider UCD, and you're going to hear from a couple current students on why they chose UCD as well. We're going to talk about if maybe you want to visit campus this spring, how you can schedule your campus tours. We're going to go over scholarships, fees, and federal aid, planning ahead, thinking about immigration, researching your course, make sure you're making the right decision, especially if you have multiple offers, health insurance, accepting your offer of admission, essentially those next steps, accommodation, living on campus, student life, internships, study abroad, even though you're abroad for your full degree. And you're going to hear from 8 different North American ambassadors who are current students throughout the main presentation. And then they're all going to be in the breakout sessions leading them. But there's an additional 10 current students who also are going to be in the breakout sessions. So since I didn't formally introduce myself at the very start of this, I'll go ahead and do that now. My name is Chelsea Weaver. I'm based in Seattle, and I'm the recruitment manager for North America. Um, Not present today, but a very big part of our team is Shannon Farley, of course, who's our regional director. She's based in New York City, and Jim Pearson, our regional manager, who is based in Chicago. And I'm going to hand it over to Bridie to introduce herself and also Kendall, who's not here today.
Great, thank you. I am Bridie. I am also based in Chicago, like Jim. I am the admissions manager for North America here. And Kendall Hook, who is not here today, she is our engagement manager, and she is based in Nashville. And I see quite a few Chicago and Nashville in the chat. So you've likely met both of us already as well.
Hi everyone, my name is Tessa Rendina. I'm based in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I saw some New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland people. So super excited to chat with some of you again. And I'll pass it off to Sarah.
Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Keniston. I'm based in Boston, Massachusetts, so big up the Northeast in the chat. I'm an admissions officer with UCD, and I'm also an alumni of an undergraduate program at UCD. And also missing today is our Ireland-based admissions officer, Carrie Connolly. So if you're on campus, you might get a chance to meet her as well.
Absolutely. Carrie is American, living in Ireland, so she's a wonderful help to the team. Okay, so in-person meet and greets. You have all, if you're here today, you have received an invitation to these in-person meet and greets. And it's great that you're here live today because today is really the only official information session where we deliver this content to you. These in-person meet and greets, there's no presentation, but it's really an opportunity to meet other offer holders, meet us, the North America team in person, but meet other offer holders from your area, parents meeting parents, and then also we'll have some faculty and staff over from campus at the majority of these events for you to be able to meet with them as well, and alumni from the area too, if they're able to attend. So make sure you do register for these. It is absolutely required to register ahead of time because some of the locations, the event venues, have very strict security. So we do need the names of all attendees ahead of time. So it is important to register ahead of time. And yeah, we really hope to get to meet you in person if you are able to attend or travel to one of these areas. Okay. So we're gonna hear from a couple North American ambassadors in just a minute, but very, very quickly, just for an overview for those of you who aren't already aware, what does our student population at UCD look like? So we have currently 34,000 students on campus in total. So we do have a lot of grad students and study abroad exchange students. But really comparing to US universities, we're really more like a mid-sized university when we look at our undergrad population, because we have about 19,000 undergrads on campus now. 35% of our student population is international. We have 163 nationalities represented on campus today, which is really incredible because that means we have students from nearly every country in the world on campus. But then the flip side of that is the majority of our student population is Irish. So it's still going to be a very immersive experience. We have around 2,000 North American students on campus out of the total 19,000 undergrads. So it's a substantial population, but still not too overwhelming. You're definitely not going to be the only North American student on campus if you decide to come to UCD, but you're not going to run into North Americans absolutely everywhere you go. We are a suburban campus, but only about 20-minute bus ride from Dublin city center. So we're just over 3 miles. So we do have a lot of land. We have 330 acres of land, which is really amazing. And it feels like we must be far from the city, but we're not. Very, very quick and easy access to the city. And everything, campus is very central, even though we have a lot of land. So everything is really walkable and accessible to the students. So these slides are quite overwhelming to read, but again, we're going to share these slides with you so you can read through them later if you'd like to. But I'm going to have Priyanka come on camera first and just briefly share why she chose UCD. And then I'm going to ask, once Priyanka is finished, for Sophia to come on camera and share why she chose UCD. Oh, Priyanka, sorry, you're muted. Don't even worry. I was trying to find you on the camera thing, so
Sorry about that.
no worries.
So I'm Priyanka. I'm a fourth year medical student and I'm from California. And so I'm in the 6 year undergraduate medicine program. So a big reason of why I chose UCD was because of the 6 year program, because in the States you have to do at least usually your 4 years undergrad and then you apply for the MCAT and then you're 4 years in medical school. So this is obviously like more fast tracked of a pace. But also along with that, like my parents are always very big on like making me like go to like a different country because there's just so many experiences that you get to go through and I feel like you become like a more confident person. You just get to grow a lot. So those are kind of the two big reasons why I chose UCD.
I love it. Thank you, Priyanka. Sophia?
Hi, everyone. So I am a second year law student here at UCD from California as well. And my reasoning was pretty similar. So in law, it's only a 4 year degree, whereas in the US, it would take about 7 years. So that was really a big, strong pulling point for me to come here. And also, the campus is a very Americanized campus. A lot of European universities are spread out between the city, whereas UCD has a whole collective campus, as Chelsea was saying earlier, which is really, really awesome. And also, I like that there was a high amount of international students, American students, but also a good amount of Irish students as well. So you get a good balance between all of those.
I love it. Thank you so much, both of you, for sharing that. And again, this is a lot of words to read through, but our North American ambassadors did really contribute to these slides. So definitely take the time to read through these later if you're interested. Okay, so campus tours. If you are thinking of visiting, if you've never been to UCD, if you're thinking of visiting this spring, there's a few different opportunities. So you can actually you can, if you just Google search UC Dublin campus tours, it'll take you to the global page where you can book a campus tour if you're visiting on a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. And then if you just scroll down below the main campus tours Calendly where you book, if you're visiting on a Tuesday, Thursday, or Saturday, there's actually the North American Ambassadors Calendly on the main page underneath the global one. And you can book a campus tour directly with one of our North American ambassadors or a couple of our North American ambassadors. Okay. But let's say you're visiting on a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, and you still want to meet with one of our North American ambassadors. You can actually schedule a 30-minute meeting with one of our North American ambassadors after your campus tour with Global. So there's a few opportunities there. We definitely encourage you to check that out. And it's important to register early, especially if you're visiting around Easter, because those tours, for obvious reasons, do book up in advance. Okay, I'm going to hand it over to Brady for a few minutes so we can break up the voices, and you're going to hear from plenty more North American ambassadors during this as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So I know what many of you have questions about is scholarships. We do offer something called the International Student Scholarship. Now, this is merit-based. It does not require a separate application. So if you've already received your offer to UCD, you will know if you've gotten the scholarship. If you have the scholarship, it will be written on your offer letter. The great thing is this International Student Scholarship, that goes to your tuition every single year, as long as you follow the terms and conditions, the main one of which is just to keep a B average. But it is very nice that you can count on this every year if you keep your grades up. You don't have to reapply for it every year. We also have a really great scholarship for those that have played Irish sports in the past. Now, UCD launched this scholarship last year. It's called the Brian Mullins Gaelic Games Award, specifically for incoming American undergraduate or master's students who have previous experience playing Gaelic games like hurling, Gaelic football, handball, and to continue their passion for these traditional games at UCD. So this application is now live and recipients could be awarded up to €5,000 per year. So if you do have a passion for Gaelic games, I very strongly recommend applying for this scholarship. These are the only scholarships that we're offering right now. So Some of you may be asking if there's other scholarships you can apply for. Really, there's the International Student Scholarship that'll be listed on your offer letter and the Gaelic Games that you can apply for if you do have GAA history. If you don't have GAA history, this isn't scholarship related, but I highly recommend getting involved in Gaelic sports on campus. It's so much fun. You can learn how to play hurling. For all my girls in the chat, you can learn camogie, which is the female version of hurling, kind of. Gaelic football, it's a lot of fun. Now back to finances. So definitely check your offer letter to see how much your tuition will be every year and if you've received an international student scholarship. Great thing about UCD that kind of differs from some American schools is that we're not raising the tuition on you every year. So whatever's listed on your offer letter, that's what you'll be paying every year. Big exception here is medicine and veterinary medicine students. They do raise tuition on them every year, but it is nice. You don't have to anticipate any increases in that euro amount year on year. I highly recommend once you all graduate to send us your updated test scores. Any additional test scores could help your chances of a scholarship. So we won't take away a scholarship from you if you did get a 2 on an AP exam that you didn't report before, but it could increase your chances of a scholarship. So make sure to send those all to us. Anything could really help. And even if it's just an additional 500 euro, it's worth it, right? We also do accept federal student aid. So we are on the FAFSA. This would be those direct loans, those unsubsidized loans and Parent Plus loans. You can use those with us. We also do accept VA benefits and GI Bill for certain programs. So if you have any questions about this, definitely reach out to us to know more. So you must file the FAFSA using our school code. Otherwise, we won't receive your information. We can't just look your name up in the system. You do have to send it to us with your school code at studentaid.gov. If you've submitted your FAFSA before, but you didn't include us, that's okay. You can log into the FAFSA website and still add our information there. I would recommend doing this as soon as possible because it can take a couple weeks for us to get your information. Now, once we do get your financial aid information, we do craft something called a cost of attendance letter, a COA letter. Now, these will generally be sent out early April, and they will outline how much in loans you are eligible for. This is very important to look at when you're planning your budget for the year, but it's also important to note that international universities cannot accept Pell Grants. So if that's something that you are anticipating to receive, just know that the U.S. Department of Education will not let you use that for a foreign education. It's not a UCD policy. They just won't allow it. If you want to know more about this, I love talking about it. We do have a webinar coming up specifically for financial aid, and I will pop that in the chat right here. This will be April 12th, so the week after Easter. If you or your family or your parents have any questions about financial aid, this is a great time to join and just learn about what the process is. I do see that we have a couple of Canadians in the chat. We do accept provincial loans as well. I think we've received provincial loan applications from every single province, so none of it's new to us, which is exciting. Once you do get your COA letter, you will be able to start that U.S. financial aid application on our internal system, and then that is due by July 15th so that you can get your federal aid funds in September. Great. So more logistics. As you prepare for travel, it is very good to note that you do not need a visa if you are a U.S. or a Canadian citizen. This saves you a ton of hassle. For those of you who don't know, a visa is really permission to travel that some other countries need to go to Ireland. It involves a lengthy process of working with the embassy beforehand, but you don't have to worry about that. Instead, you will arrive at Dublin Airport with your passport that should be valid for more than 6 months. They are allowed to turn you around if you do not have a passport valid for 6 months from the date that you arrive. So make sure that it's renewed already. You will show them proof of funds. Your financial aid form can cover this as well. You will show your offer letter to UCD. Now, if some of you have a conditional offer, this must be firm before you get to the airport. So if you don't think you're going to meet the conditions of your offer before that day, then you should definitely reach out to us to let us know. And you'll have to show proof of health insurance, which we'll talk about a little bit more too. And then once you get there, you'll register with immigration. They will, within 3 months, you'll have to register with our Dublin Immigration Office. They will provide you with an Irish residency permit. It's like a special stamp This stamp allows you to live and travel around Ireland. It's very similar to having a visa. It gives you all those immigration permissions. Now, I know we do have a lot of dual citizens in the chat, so even if you do have EU citizenship, you don't have to register with our immigration office. However, I know I was sitting on a student panel last week, and Sophia, our current student who's here in the chat right now, actually talked about how it's worth it to go to get a PPS number so that you can get a job, which is nice because you cannot get a job until after you have that PPS number from that immigration appointment. We do provide you a lot of guidance on this. This is not going to be the last that you're hearing about immigration. Don't worry, we're going to talk to you about it nonstop. We will have drop-in sessions over the summer to help you prepare. So don't worry, you're not on your own with this. We will be holding your hand as you go. And you will renew this card every single year of your degree at UCD. So great. Now I want to talk to some of our current students about what it's like to work part-time during your studies at in Dublin. So we have Shannon with us, who is studying criminology with psychology. She is from Florida. And we have an old friend of mine, Jaden from Oklahoma, who is studying business. So yeah, would you both mind telling us a little bit about your experience of working in Dublin?
Hi, I'm Shannon. As you can see, I do criminology and I'm from Florida. And my job is actually, I'm a student ambassador for my program. So typically around probably about now or later this month, your first year, second semester, you can apply to become a student ambassador for your program. And you pretty much give tours to prospective students, parents, school groups, Irish school groups, international school groups, maybe even American school groups, depends. And you just give tours to them around campus. You promote your program to them, and then sometimes you'll have people ask specifically for you, but you get paid to do it, and it's on campus. You'll never have to. There's two events that you might have to go off campus for, and those two that you have to work guaranteed. But otherwise, those events or tours, you only have to do, I think, a minimum of 5 per semester. But I've really enjoyed it. Again, it's an on-campus job, and they always, always, always need student ambassadors. And the guy who works or kind of runs the program is really, really sweet, very kind. So if you like can't meet the quota or something, or if you say signed up for a tour and you can't do it last minute, he's really nice and will just help you out with it. But this is one, it's probably my favorite job. Other than that, I do work part-time as a gymnastics and trampoline coach in 2 different places. So I do encourage you, if you say coach a sport in the States, try to find that sport in Ireland. You never know, they might need more coaches.
Hello, I'm Jaden. I study business and I'm from Oklahoma. So I do I've worked a bit in software development before I started studying at UCD. And so I was able to find a job that let me do a bit of that while I do my program here. And so I'm fortunate that I have a bit of flexibility with being able to like work from home and all of that. And so one of the big things that I really had to learn as well when doing this is that there is a lot of balancing that has to go into it. So, for instance, you have your coursework, you also have maintaining a social life and all of that. And so, there's a bit of a discipline that comes with that. And so that's certainly been something that you learn when you're working, and something that has been kind of an interesting thing for me to deal with, especially when it comes to like exam season and balancing all of that out. So
Thank you, Shannon and Jaden. So we're going to touch a little bit on specific courses. So as many of you may have noticed, you were able to apply to multiple majors, and you might have received a different offer letter, tuition, scholarship amount for each of those decisions. So a big thing with international schools that's different than US schools is that instead of applying to the school itself, you're applying to these major programs. A big part, I would say, of researching your specific course is we allow you to see every single class, optional or required, for each of your programs ahead of time. So After this call, I recommend going to our courses webpage, finding your particular programs of interest, and then going down to view all modules. For us, a module just means a class. If you hear course or program, that typically means your major. We have a jargon buster on the website if you ever need to figure out the differences between some of the lingo. However, once you go into the module list, you can click down and click into each of those classes and get a description of the class and exactly how you'll be assessed. You may notice that across many of the majors, it's a little bit less of specific like assignments or testing or things than maybe as seen as in the U.S. as well. There's a possibility you could have a few quizzes or projects leading up to a midterm, but some of your classes could be that big midterm and final, and then maybe a couple assignments sprinkled in. So I definitely recommend going and checking that out, especially if you have two different offers that you're super interested in and you just want to see a big difference between them. Again, just going and looking at your classes are a great way to decipher the differences between those two particular programs. And then we have a couple different college specific events happening. So based on your applications, you will receive emails or have received emails about some of those sessions. So I highly recommend. We know right now, coming up soon, Arts and Humanities has their 15-minute 101s coming up, and then Liberal Arts and Sciences also has some programming coming up as well. So just making sure that you're checking your student hub just in case your particular program's doing any events. As I mentioned, again, you're applying to the specific majors. So as you're exploring the website, and if you see a major that you're like, actually, I want to do that one instead, I recommend applying sooner than later, since some of our popular programs are actually already closing at this point. So again, if there's anything else you see, just go back into your application and add your account and add an application for that major as well. And then once you accept your desired program, the one that you want to come in with, then please select not accept for all of your other major offers. And I know we touched a little bit on immigration earlier. So just to get back into the logistics a little bit, you will need health insurance while you're over in Ireland. You might already have a home policy. Maybe you're on your parents' health insurance. If you want to stay on that health insurance, it must cover you up to 25,000 euro in hospital costs, and it must be valid abroad. So that's something to definitely check in with your parents about if they're not on this call afterwards as well. However, many of our students do use private health insurance while they're with us, specifically in Ireland. We have more information on the website for providers. I do know many of our students use VHI, which is the largest healthcare provider in Ireland, and we have some more information on the website. Again, if you go to the insurance webpage and the health insurance, oh, sorry, the visa and immigration webpage and the health insurance webpages. We do have a GP or general practitioner on campus, so you can go to the doctor on campus. There's also a pharmacy. The biggest thing that I recommend is taking a look at our international student health service webpage that has some frequently asked questions and answers on insurance. I'm just sending this into the chat here so that you have it. I will say that there are some medications that we commonly see that are regulated more strictly in Ireland than they are in the United States. So that's definitely something to watch out for. You can get an idea of some of those specific medications in the frequently asked questions, but I highly recommend checking in with your home doctor if you are taking any specific medication that you would need to continue while you're with us in Ireland. So definitely check out that webpage. I will say particularly ADHD medication and even things such as melatonin are regulated more strictly in Ireland than they are in the US. I know you can just grab melatonin at a CVS or anything, but over in Ireland, it is a little bit stricter. We do also have a 24/7 text line and appointments available for mental health counseling as well. And packing. So as we're checking on our passports, our medications, and everything. Here are some other things to consider throughout the summer, such as your packing list. We are going to send like tips, packing tips over the summer later on. Also, as part of our Follow Me and Kickstart series over the summer, you may notice some of your friends who might be attending US schools might get some earlier emails about some of these things and even registering for classes and everything. Please just know we're a little bit later in that cycle. So if we're in May and you're like, when do I sign up for classes? When does orientation happen? When are all these things happening? Just know it's a little bit later of a process for us than it is for US schools. The main reason for that is because our domestic students, so our Irish students, they don't find out which program or university they've gotten into until mid-August. So that is why some of these things are a little bit later than the US process. So for you all, you're ahead of the game. You've already found out that you've been accepted to the university. So super exciting. And you can start to plan out those things like flights and everything ahead of time, where our Irish students find out within August. Our orientation is right at the end of August, so that first week of September, really. And then our classes start the second week of September, so pretty fairly similar timeline to US schools. And then our finals week tends to be in mid-December. So I highly recommend when you're booking flights also to look at the finals range, maybe book the day after that last session at least. So just in case you have a final on that last day, you're not also rushing for a flight or having to move your flight as well. And in thinking about things to bring with you, Ireland's weather, I always like to say bring layers. Your sense of style and things can change as well, possibly. I know that. In US schools, you might see like sweatpants and things like when you're going to class where we're not quite like dressed to the nines, but people might be more in like jeans and like sambas and things when they're heading to class. So just some things to keep in mind while you're packing. And we do have IKEA, TK Maxx instead of TJ Maxx, Dunn's, some other places like Penny's that you can go shopping for things while you're here. So don't feel like you need to pack full size conditioner or shampoo bottles or any super big or large items like that, like sheets that you can get while you're over in Ireland. Also, the mattress sizes are similar, but not the exact same. So that's another reason that you'll want to bring sheets over as well. Um, and then I just wanted to note too to keep an eye on your student hub for any additional materials, such as that packing list, and to follow us on Instagram at UCD Global.
Thank you, Tessa. You are delivering this information in a way that is amazing, and I am so happy. I just wanted to jump in and add one more point and really emphasize something really quickly. Um, in terms of moving in, we're going to talk about accommodation very, very soon, but in terms of your move-in date, it's not known yet. It won't actually be decided until or announced until later this spring or early summer. But just know when you are planning to move to Dublin that there is no such thing as an official move-in date like there is at US colleges. So we really, really, really do not recommend moving in before August 29th or 30th at the earliest. Or really, I guess the ideal dates to move in are the 29th and 30th because Irish students they won't move on campus until midweek and orientation week, and it can feel a little bit isolating and lonely if you're there early and if you have Irish roommates, right? So there is such thing as getting there too early. So I really just wanted to emphasize that.
Yes, exactly. And I do just want to note too that we do see some families, like if your parents are coming with you early, they might go travel around Ireland before they get directly onto campus. So, of course, if you want to fly like a week or two early, spend t some time with family or friends traveling around, and then come to campus, that's more than welcome as well. I did see a question earlier about arriving too early with the immigration process. We wouldn't recommend earlier than in August just because you do need to get that IRP card within the first 90 days. And you have to register your classes to be certified as a student, which you need for that appointment as well. So that's just something else to keep in mind. I also do want to touch on for orientation as well. It's not quite like a US school where you go to one event and then you go to the next and then the next and the next during orientation. There will definitely be some required events that you'll need to go to. We highly recommend our North America specific event that we'll have, especially for parents to come and the students to come and meet each other and get acclimated to campus. But then a lot of your courses might also do some specific events as well that would be required. The rest, I would say, that will come out again later, sometimes as late as within August. So keep an eye out for those later in the summer so that you can see like what UCD global events are going on, what general UCD events are going on. And some of those events even go throughout the whole month of September. So if you miss one, that's okay. But again, just keep an eye out for those required events. Finally, for me, our resources to connect. There's lots of different options to connect online ahead of time, such as the webinar we have now, but also our UCD Global Facebook page to meet other international students, our Student Welcome Hub, and our Alumni Connector. I think this is a really great tool to find alumni and chat with them. Again, even before you're on campus. And then my biggest recommendation, join our WhatsApp group. This way you just have maybe a friendly face before you even get to campus. When I was over in Ireland for grad school, I connected with someone over the summer, my friend Anna. And when I flew over, I flew without parents, without anybody. And she was already there and had messaged me, and we were able to walk around campus in the town my first day. So I would say that's a really great way to meet people. We'll also do Ask Me Anything events. So our AMAs. The AMAs are for some of our current students will answer some questions. For the in the WhatsApp group during that particular time. So again, definitely join the WhatsApp group. The QR code is on the screen here. So feel free to take a picture now, or if you're not unable to at the moment, then I would say when the webinar comes out, you can grab a picture then.
And before I hand it over to Sarah, thank you so much, Tessa. I'll just say that shortly after this session with the breakout rooms and everything ends, we actually have two of our current students, our North American ambassadors who are here today. They're going to lead an AMA in the WhatsApp group shortly after this. So Jaden and Charlize are going to be leading that. So we try to do one of those a week.
Hi everyone, my name is Sarah. I think my Wi-Fi is getting a little funky, so please feel free to pop in the chat if you can't hear me. But next up, we're going to talk about accepting your offer at UCD. Very exciting. Some of you have already accepted your offers, and hopefully some of you are on the way to do that very soon. In order to do that, you can log into your UCD portal. This is very similar to where you would have applied if you applied directly or after you received a login if you applied through Common App. So let us know if you have any questions with that, but you can go right into your UCD portal, click accept your offer. You can pay your tuition deposit, which will vary a little bit by course, but not too much. And then you can update all of your other offers to not accept. This is just so that we can allocate those spots to other students. Some of our very popular programs have already closed. So if you don't plan on taking your spot, please let us know. And so that we can give it to another student who's hoping to join us next year. The undergraduate decision deadline is May 1st. So that's very normal with other US colleges. And so we try to kind of follow that timeline as well. The only exceptions to that are any of our clinical programs, so vet med or medicine, and computer science is also one of the exceptions. And at the end of the summer or over the summer, we need your final transcripts, test scores, anything you've sent us, we need it from the source. So what that looks like is if you get your transcript, we can't receive it from you to consider it final. We need your school to send it to us, or your counselor, or whatever that may be. And then with your test scores, we'll get them from College Board if you're taking SAT, or wherever your official testing base is, they'll need to send us your scores directly in order for it to be considered final. And they can go to northamerica@ucd.ie. All right, so now we're going to talk a little bit about accommodation. I know we've had quite a few questions in the chat about accommodation, so hopefully this will help to clear some of those questions up. living at UCD is pretty sweet style, and I mean that in a literal and figurative way. You get your own room in all of our campus accommodations, and you almost always get your own ensuite bathroom as well. If you don't have your own ensuite bathroom, you'll share a bathroom with one other person on campus. I went to UCD myself. My parents were flabbergasted when we showed up to UCD, and it was like living in a hotel room. So you'll definitely be in a really good place. You'll feel very safe in your apartment. You have to scan into the building and then to the apartment and then to your room as well with your personal ID card. So everything is very secure. Nobody else is going to be able to access your specific living area, which is really nice. We have a res life kind of set up on campus. So that's done through campus assistants, residential assistants. Everyone is there to help you. If you have a question about your dorm or how to start your laundry, or you just kind of need something to do on a Thursday night, maybe they're hosting a pizza night or a movie night, and then you can go and meet people and kind of get that social input in your week. And then nearby to campus as well, we do have a Centra on campus. Pro tip is I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing your weekly shopping there. It's going to be a little bit more expensive and a little bit more limited in the options you have for food. There's a Tesco Marion, which is about 20 minutes walking distance from UCD, or you can go down to Still Oregon and there is a Lidl and a Tesco, both very popular grocery stores, and that's just a very short bus ride away. Or you can get a Tesco delivery to campus for very, very affordable delivery fees. So those are all your different options. As I mentioned, we do have laundry facilities on campus and within all of the different residences. And there's some restaurants on and around campus as well if you're just really not feeling cooking dinner that night. And on that topic, really quick, as you might have put together, you don't have a meal plan in most of our residences. You will be cooking in your own kitchen with your roommates. Some have an oven, some do not. An air fryer will truly be your best friend if you don't have an oven. And then undergraduate, non-clinical offer holders, you're guaranteed on-campus accommodation for your first year. If you're a medicine student, please reach out to Atlantic Bridge about your housing options. And if you would like to take advantage of that guaranteed first year on campus, you need to accept your offer by May 1st. If you've already accepted your offer, you should be able to access the housing portal now. And if you cannot, please reach out to us and we'll get that rolling for you. Last point on accommodation is that from the duration of your license to reside, which is usually the last Thursday in August, like Chelsea said, that's not confirmed for this year, but it'll be around that time until the third week of May. You have the accommodation for every single day of that period. There's absolutely no blackout dates. If you want to stay over the winter break or the March break, you have complete access to your room. You don't need to move out at all, which is really nice. All right, and next up, we're going to hear from Rebecca about living on campus and res life.
Hey guys, so my name's Rebecca. I'm from South Carolina and I'm a politics, philosophy, and economics student, fourth year. I lived on campus first year and I had a really, really great experience. I lived in the Merville accommodations, and the layout for those dorms is there's 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms that you share with one other person, and then you have a kitchen. I had a really great time. I met a bunch of new people from living in the dorms. Actually, all of my first year roommates were all American girls that were in undergrad. So we had a really, really good setup there. And one of them became my best friend, who I still live with to this day. Living on campus is super handy because you can be on campus for going to class. Walking to class takes anywhere from 2 to 10 minutes maximum. So if you have a break in between your schedule, you can go home and make lunch, take a nap, do whatever. And then also, it is really nice for social events like Student Union Christmas Day, which you'll hear about at some point, Res Life movie nights, and society events as well. Overall, it was a really, really great experience. Having your own room is really nice. You have your controls for your own heating. Your door to your room can lock. You have your own space, but you also have the living area and the kitchen if you are, friendly with your roommates or you want to invite people over. We had a lot of fun cooking and having people over on a Friday night, that kind of thing. So overall, I'd really recommend living on campus if you want to for first year.
All right, thank you so much, Rebecca. That was very helpful. Hopefully you guys can hear me. So just some more further resources about starting at UCD and all that is ahead of you. Our UCD offer holder site, I'm going to throw in the chat here in a minute. The North America Global Center is here to help you. Like it's been mentioned, we are all US based, so we understand the school system you're coming from, the transition to Dublin that you're about to make, and everything that is to come. So if you have any questions, especially specific to your experience or your situation, please do let us know. Once you're on campus, we really recommend reaching out to the UCD Access and Disability Supports if that is something that is applicable to you and your situation. You may see it referred to as UCD ALL, which is Access and Lifelong Learning. They're a phenomenal service on campus. If you have a more higher level need, they can help you with that. If you have a lower level need that maybe you just kind of want to let them know about and maybe get supports extra time on exams or have a specific plan set up, they're really phenomenal and we highly recommend reaching out to them. But do let them know as soon as possible after you accept your offer about these supports. Also, follow us on social media. On YouTube, we have lots of different resources from students on campus, students on placements, anything that you can find to kind of give you an idea of what it looks like to be a student at UCD, what the campus looks like from a student perspective, day to day, everything there. Especially if you haven't toured, YouTube is very helpful for that. And check your email often. We are going to be sending you things over the summer. As it's been mentioned previously, the timeline is a lot later just because of how the Irish system works. So don't panic if you haven't heard anything. July especially can be a pretty quiet month, but hopefully you'll be hearing from us in the North America Center. And if you have any questions, you can reach out anytime. The Student Welcome Hub, very similar to your student portal. Definitely check that out. That's where you'll see recordings of these types of presentations. The Jargon Buster, I'll put in the chat as well. And then read your offer pack. Everything that you really should know is in that offer pack and that you need to know at this point. And any upcoming webinars we'll let you know about to help out with that. And come to our offer holder events if you're in any of those cities. All right, and connect with each other on Instagram. I know it's been mentioned before, but it's really important to kind of try to make those connections before going to campus so that when you get there, things are a little bit easier. Similar to Tessa when she moved over to her graduate program, when I moved over for undergrad, somebody I had met at the offer holder event in Boston ended up being my best friend when I got to UCD. Having that connection and having someone to walk around with on that first day was really, really helpful. And I'd really encourage you all to try to make those connections now as well. And if you follow our UCD Global page on Instagram and comment what state and province you're coming from and what degree you're studying, 5 students will be chosen by March 12th and you'll receive some free swag. So please feel free to enter that. And next up, we'll hear a bit from Natalie, one of our North America ambassadors, about student life on campus.
Hello, my name is Natalie. I'm from California, and I'm really lucky because I get to talk about what I think is some of the most fun places and activities that UCD has to offer. So there's lots of different aspects of student life at UCD, but I'll first start talking about the student center, which is the main hub. Like it's a building on campus. It has tons of facilities inside. And there's 2 gyms. There's like the main gym, then there's the training gym, and you have access to that just by being a student. And there's also workout classes, and there's a pool, and there's a rock wall, and there's a sauna, and a steam room, and a hot tub. Lots of things that like you can do to go do fit activities, and there's societies that you can get involved in. And it totally doesn't matter if you're new or not. Like I've tried so many things that I never thought I would try before, like rugby, and I joined swim team. And the teams, I think joining a society, you just get to meet a lot of people and they plan events for you and they bring you places. And you get to travel also while doing it. Like being on swim team, I went to Belfast and Limerick and Galway and Cork for different like events, banquets, and competitions. I've also like am part of Surf Society, and I've surfed like all around now, like Kerry, Galway, Donegal, um yeah, and they bring you. They like all you have to do is just sign up and pay. They're usually not too expensive, and you can, yeah, really get all around Ireland being part of a society and also do a lot of things on campus, like yoga classes. And I know like that's my cup of tea is I love more of like the fitness societies, but there's also just a range of different societies like film that watch weekly movies in the cinema that's in the student center and just so many things you can do. And there's also like new facilities being built on campus, like indoor tennis courts, which is great because then you can play rain or shine. All the practices are on, and there's plenty of pitches. Um, yeah, and there's also like other things that aren't like, in use. There aren't the societies. You could also do a tag rugby team with your friends. That's on Monday nights. I've done that for 2 semesters, and it's just really fun. You make a tag rugby team with anyone. Um, Yeah, and then usually go to the clubhouse, which is the student bar after, and then there's kind of a banquet afterwards. I really recommend doing that. There's also Res Life, which is the for residences, people who live in the residences on campus. They plan baking nights and movie nights and a lot of other nights and activities and lots of things you can learn and some lots of free food. And also, I want to highlight a really good event, especially because it's just a proper UCD event, traditional event is Christmas Day, which is the Thursday before we go on Christmas before exams start. Um, and it's just a giant party on campus. It's super fun. Yeah, and so there's so many ways to get involved on campus, and for any type of interest you may have, there's a way to meet people who also have those as well. And yeah, I hope you enjoy your time if you come to UCD.
Thank you, Natalie. You've been involved in so much. I'm actually um, amazed. So you are the perfect North American ambassador to talk about student life. So thank you so much for all of that. That was so comprehensive. I just wanted to add, typically it's €2 to join any society, and usually about €20 to join a sports club, just because that covers a lot of what it costs to run the sport, and everything is student run as well. So I just wanted to comment on that. Back to Sarah.
Thank you so much, Chelsea and Natalie. That was so helpful. I don't have a ton to echo. I don't want to be too repetitive. Natalie covered so much, which is amazing. I would say the biggest thing about life on campus is that you'll hear this anywhere you go, but it's so important to get involved, just to get out of your apartment and try something new. Whether you go once and decide to never go back, can still say that you've done it. UCD is a big school, but there's so many different ways to get involved and to make your own little communities within the campus, and then you'll have so many different friend groups to go between. So it's a really wonderful place to be. You really feel like part of the community. But like Natalie said, get involved. There's no lack of options. I think Natalie might have mentioned this, but the Food Society is also a great one for new students, especially if you are sick of cooking for yourself and you just want some free food one night, hit them up. I had a friend that ran that at UCD, so I have to shout it out. So if anyone has questions, let us know.
Love it so much. Really, the point of this slide, I think, is to look at the pictures. Even though most of these are professional pictures, that is truly what our facilities do look like in person. Um, if I do say so myself, UCD has the best student facilities out of any Irish university. So. We are going to hear from a few more students before we head into the breakout rooms. So I am thrilled to introduce Henri, who is currently doing an internship in Galway. And I'll have him introduce himself. But Henri, would you like to share some of your experience so far?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi everyone. I'm Henri. I'm a fourth year mechanical engineering student. As part of my major, for the second semester, I'm on an academic internship. So right now I'm working for a biomedical engineering company, and they make these cool devices that are seen in operating rooms. But I'm getting a ton of relevant work experience, and I found that academic internships, by the way, are UCD modules that you can take during the academic year and get the chance to get some work experience that pertains to your degree. So I've used a ton of resources that UCD has provided to obtain this academic internship. The UCD Careers Network is a service with lots of resources like feedback and advice on resumes. So I've used it a bunch to clean up my own resume before applying to this internship, and also interview prep. So you're more confident to go into those interviews and engage with employers. So that definitely helped a whole lot with me. Um, More fundamentally, I use the UCD Careers Network to kind of get more confidence with career planning. I kind of entered college having an idea of what I wanted to do, not knowing how to get there. So the UCD Careers Network, provides a whole bunch of resources to help, with feeling more confident about your future, and everything like that. They also have one-on-one consultations. But to get this internship, they also provided a whole lot of internship positions based on my major. And they have connections with multiple companies across the country, as well as some places across the world. So I was able to go to Galway and have this internship because of them. I was able to apply because of them. So I found that by going to UCD, you can leave college feeling way more confident about your future and already having some relevant work experience. So this has been a blast for me. But yeah,
Yeah, and also what a way to get to experience another Irish city for a long period of time as well. So thank you so much, Henri,
yeah,
for sharing that. It's incredibly
absolutely.
helpful and insightful for us as staff as well. So thank you. And last but not least, before we explain the breakout room setup, we would love to hear from Chloe, who is in her final year in UCD, but spent her third year last year in New Zealand. So, yes, again, even though you are abroad for your full degree, if you come to UCD, you can still spend a semester or a year, depending on what you're studying, in another country abroad again. So, Chloe, if you'd like to share your experience, we'd love to hear it.
Hi, yeah, definitely. Hi everyone, I'm Chloe. I'm studying English and creative writing, and I'm originally from Hawaii. Yeah, I studied abroad last year at the University of Otago, which is on the South Island of New Zealand. And I would highly recommend that you think about studying abroad. You guys are already thinking about studying abroad, but to continue doing that, you can either do a semester or a year, which is what I did, and you can kind of go anywhere in the world. I had a friend go to Chile for a year, another friend go to Japan. I went to New Zealand. I know people in Australia, or you can do an Erasmus, which is staying within the EU. And I highly recommend it. It was an amazing experience, and UCD was also very helpful while I was abroad. They still kept in contact with me to make sure I was taking all the modules I needed to take. I was having a good experience. I was okay with housing. And so even though it's kind of a stressful process to apply for study abroad, UCD is very helpful in helping you prep for that and also helping you while you're there. So yeah, I had an amazing time in New Zealand, so much so that I'm trying to go back next year after I graduate. So yeah, be happy to talk about it more in my breakout room, but that's it for me.
That's amazing, Chloe. I hope you get back to New Zealand. That's, yeah, it must have been a life-changing experience. So thank you for sharing.